So, welcome to our Tuesday night call, you guys. I'm really excited tonight because our guests on tonight's call, I don't know much of their stories. So, I'm excited to hear their stories along with you guys and just how this company has changed their lives. So, rocking my French braids. I have a 12-year-old who just learned how to French braid over the weekend. She wanted to French braid my hair for my call. But those of you that don't know me, my name is Brandy Bright. Mike, my other half, and I have been involved in this amazing company for 17 months now. It's been a whirlwind 17 months. If you don't know the company that we are all involved in, it is a faith-based, family-owned, almost 20-year-old company, debt-free, incredible people. Like, not only are the stories you're going to hear incredible, but they have amazing products. They're always working on reformulating and revamping and trying to make their products better, but they're just incredible people. So if you don't know a lot of our story, like I said, we've been involved for 17 months. Mike has been in the industry for a long time. I've kind of played around in some other companies, but I've never really made money personally in the industry outside of, he and I doing it together until I found this company. But the funny part is we found this company and Mike was like, yes. And I said, no. I don't want to do it. I won't like the girls that are in that company. They won't like me. I won't like their products. I don't want to do another one of those things again. I don't. And Mike was like, well, we're doing this. And thank God that he had the vision to say yes. And I trusted him and supported him enough to support along this journey. Because look, 17 months later, we just left conference as number 87 in the company out of, 150,000 some distributors. We hit ambassador in 10 months. This company is truly amazing that they allow you to sponsor your spouse. So one of the companies that I was in actually currently, and when we found It Works, I'm not in them anymore, but when we found It Works, I was currently in them. And you were not allowed to sponsor your spouse. I actually had a girl on my team sign up her husband, and they canceled both their accounts because you were not allowed to have two distributors under one roof. This company encourages it. Not only do they allow you to sponsor your spouse, as soon as you hit ambassador, the top rank of our company, they're like, hey, that was fun. Want to do it all over again? Because we let you. So I was really blown away by that. But what really got me and turned my no into a yes was when we went to conference. So this conference we just had last month was our second conference, but it was my first real one, because the first one I only had one foot in the door, and I sat in there. We were triple diamonds. We were still really new, and I was listening to all these stories, like some of the stories you're going to hear tonight, and some of these girls, which some of the girls on the March and April calls are like, 19, 20, 21 years old. I was listening to their stories in my I guess I'm kind of in my late 30s now, but we don't need to talk about that. I was listening to some of these stories and I was like, oh my gosh, like I have a 21-year-old stepson. That's Mike's son. Like, some of these girls are his age and they're paying cash for their mom's houses, and they're, getting out of school and paying cash for their student loans and all this stuff. And so I was watching their stories like, oh my gosh, if they can do this, imagine what I can do. But then two things got me. They launched the bonus program, mind blown, and then they started their yearly conference with a night of worship. That got me, you guys. They literally bring in, if you don't know this, they bring in people from the local church and do a worship service to kick off conference. Cindy Pentecost, the CEO's wife, prays over the entire stadium before, the arena before conference starts. I was blown away because I had seen companies before all they do was party. And I had seen companies before where, they had the yearly conference and the owners didn't even show up. They were in another country. And just to see the ownership and how God is at the center of everything that happens here, that blew me away. And so I was so excited that, Mike and I had, we had come out strong as a couple and started this position. But then I left conference last year and was like, all right, we're putting a position in my name and I'm taking it diamond. And I did. 90 days later, we took it diamond. We got a $10,000 bonus in that position. And now we're actually running for $80,000 in bonuses in that second position right now, you guys. So it's just truly, and Mike calls it the perfect storm. It's an incredible situation. It's an incredible opportunity. You know, there's something for everyone as far as the products are concerned. I come from a very holistic, organic background to where I even asked a question in Lifers when we first joined about the glycerin and the chews. Remember the chews back then? And Mike came down the stairs and was like, you did not just post that in that group. Brandy, come on. And still to this day, if you look me up in that group, no one ever answered my question. So that's that's where I come from. And there's products here that I got so excited to be able to stand behind with great ingredients that do great things for your body. So there's something for everybody. Enough about me. I am going to share something real quick. And then Whitney just messaged me. I don't know if she's going to get back on. She had an emergency and had to jump off. So I'm going to text her once we get our first guest going and see if she's coming back on. But we started a little bit of a mastermind group, and we've been meeting. It's kind of like a Run to Black Diamond kind of group, and it's some local leaders, and we've been meeting and just mentoring each other, learning from each other, helping each other with their businesses and how we can get our businesses to the next level. And one of the things I want to touch on, and this just shows you how this company, how the leadership works together and what we focus on and then take back to our team. So if you're listening to this opportunity, this is amazing. So we last night were talking, and we started talking about, and I say it wrong. I just ordered the book, but the book of Jabez. Did I say that? Jabez? I know I'm going to say it wrong, but never heard of the book. Ordered it on Amazon on my way home. And Brittany Hayes actually was sharing that with us about being very, intentional in your prayer. And she said she starts every morning with that prayer. And Pam started talking to us about asking. Kelsey has it in her purse. See, everyone I keep bringing it up to in this company, every leader I talk to owns this book. So mind blown. It'll be here tomorrow. But talking about how you can be intentional in your prayer. And you guys, when you join one of the teams here, your leaders are literally praying for you. They're not praying like, hey, increase my check. Let me build a mansion. They're praying that the people on their team hit their goals, hit their ranks, live their best life. And that's big, guys. That's huge. And so one of the things we talked about last night was, asking and receiving and asking the right questions and being really intentional in what you're asking for. So before we get into the stories, I just want to say to anyone on this call that's in the business, I want you to have that mindset shift when you leave this call tonight of a couple things. One, Joel Dunn shared something with me at our first mastermind, and he told me to set my non-negotiables. And he told us all to set our non-negotiables every month. He said that Stephanie sets her non-negotiables, and she does not sleep until those non-negotiables are met. I had never done that before. I set non-negotiables of how many distributors and how many customers I wanted to get each month, and I set them, and I far exceeded my goals last month, and I'm almost to my goals this month. So when you set that intention out there and you put it out there, tell your upline, tell your best friend, tell your sideline sister or brother, and put that out there. But the big thing is when you're praying for something, pray for something specific. There was an example given of one of the leaders last night that all year long, last year, they were praying for maintenance. Please let me maintain. Please let my business stay. And that's all they got was maintenance because they didn't pray for anything more. They weren't asking for more. And so I have tons of notes. I won't get into them all. We'll share those on a later date. But whatever it is you want in your life, be very intentional when you ask for it and when you pray about it, and ask for more. If you're going for diamond, don't just ask for diamond. What is your goal through the end of the year? Like I just said, we're going for $80,000 in bonuses in our second position. That means we're going for presidential. Right now, we're just going double and triple. But I'm not going to just ask for double and triple. I want presidential. I'm going to ask for presidential because if I don't, I'll only get what I'm asking for. So I just wanted to share that for anyone on the call tonight that really sat with me last night, and I really wanted to verbalize that. But okay, so we're going to get to our first guest, and then I'll follow up with Whitney, and hopefully she can jump back on here. But our first guest, one of my dear friends, Nina Moore, talks a lot about this girl. You guys met, I think, in Boston, and she calls you her sister from another mister and just adores you. So I knew all about you before I asked you to come on this call. But Kelsey Thornton, I'm just going to give a little a few small clips of her story because she was telling me some of it today, and I really want her to share it with you because, you know, as women, as moms, you know, my 12-year-old was braiding my hair while I was giving my 3-year-old a bath, getting ready for this call. Like, we go through so many different seasons in life and in this business, and this business grows with you through those seasons. And she's got a really good story of that, so I'm going to let her share that. But a couple of highlights. They've been in for 5 years. She had a 5-month-old when they joined. She went diamond in 4 months, and they have earned $212 in bonuses. Okay, when I say that, let that sink in for a minute. That's bonuses. That's not fast starts. That's not your commissions. That is bonuses. That's what you get for hitting ranks. That's incredible. So, all right, I'm going to let her come on and tell the rest of her story. But Kelsey Thornton, thank you so much for being on here. We're really excited to hear from you.
Hi, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited. And if Whitney can't get back on, don't worry. I am a talker, so you will have no issues with that. So hi guys. I'm so excited to be chatting with you and sharing just about this opportunity. And here's the thing. It's funny now because people will look at my life, and kind of be like, oh my gosh, she's so lucky. You know, and they'll think that I have it all together. But and the reality of it is like my kids 5 minutes ago were upstairs screaming, you know, we're trying to watch a movie. And it's like the Instagram and Facebook is a highlight reel. And sometimes we have to remember that like the people who are successful at this business are really just the exact same as us. Okay. Like, and that's one thing. So when I hopped in the business, my life, it will be 5 years in April. So my life looked kind of completely different, but also very similar at the same time. You know, I had moved to a new town. My husband was a former basketball coach for Division I university. And he was coaching. So he was traveling a lot, you guys. Like he was traveling a lot. I had just had my daughter and I went back to work. If you've been on maternity leave, you know how painful it is to go back to work. And so for me, when I went back to work, I was just kind of like, wait, I'm going back to work. And then to do what? To pay the bills? You know, and there was no extra money. Like I felt like I was working all the time and I wasn't being able to create the memories that I wanted to create because I was a prisoner to my bank account. You know that if you've been on maternity leave, some people get paid their full salary, but some people, like I only got paid partial of my salary when I was on maternity leave. I think it was like 60 or 80%. I can't remember. And then when I came back, I just remember pumping in a room and scrolling my phone and seeing this girl who had earned a $25,000 bonus. And I remember thinking, that is not real. Like this girl is just straight up lying. But my curiosity got the best of me because it got my wheels turning. And it was kind of like a series of events that happened because it wasn't just one moment. And I was like, oh, what's that? Okay, I'm so open-minded to it. Like I really wasn't that open-minded to it when I first looked at the opportunity. And I remember me and my husband were driving through this really nice area of town. And I remember saying, who lives in these houses? Like, have you guys ever had that feeling where you're driving through this really nice neighborhood and it's not just like one random nice house. It's like a series of extremely nice houses. And you're like, what are those people doing? Like, what are they doing with their life? Like, and I remember being like, babe, I really just want to go and knock on the door and be like, excuse me, how did you make all of this money? Because my thing is, you guys, is I did everything like quote unquote right. Like I went to school, I got my degree, I graduated college in 3 years, got my master's degree, I played a sport. Like I did these things right. And I was still not my bank account would have told you a different story, right? Because from the outside, it looked a lot different. It was like, oh, she has her degree, she went to college, she's married, she did X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, like, I still couldn't pay for my parents' dinner if we all went out to eat. I still didn't have a savings account for my daughter. I still didn't have a $10,000 emergency fund. And so for me, it was like, I'm really working my butt off every single day just for this, for this life, where it was like we were living a glorified paycheck to paycheck life. Like, yeah, we might have had like a house that we were renting, but at the end of the day, we weren't able to do the things that we wanted to do. And I'm not even talking about like you guys, when I say things we wanted to do, I'm not talking about like go out and buy a Louis Vuitton, go out and buy a Tesla. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the birthday presents that we really wanted to buy, but we really couldn't rationalize because our bank account didn't say that. Okay. And I always tell people it was really keeping me from being the person that I wanted to be. And what I mean by that is, like when you really want to be generous and like, you're like, I wish that I could help that person, or I wish that I could do that. Like I couldn't do that not because of my work ethic, not because of the fact that I didn't have a degree, not because of anything other than the fact that the job that I was at didn't pay me enough. And I think that was so frustrating for me because I kind of felt trapped. And so it's amazing to me when I look back and I'm like, why wasn't I more open to another opportunity, looking at how bad I was struggling? But sometimes we'll just make ourselves feel better. And I think that that's what I was doing, is I was surrounding myself with people who kind of were in the same situation as me. So I didn't have to feel bad about how broke I really was, so that I didn't have to come with the terms to the reality of how really paycheck to paycheck my life actually was. And so if you're on here and you're like, yeah, well, like I have some student loans, but like not as much as my friend over here. Stop lying to yourself. You shouldn't be in debt. You have to raise your standard. One thing I've very quickly learned in this business is that your needs will always get met, but your wants won't. So you have to decide what your standard is. Because if your standard is, I just want to live paycheck to paycheck, I just want to do this, I just want to make $100,000 a year, like, and still be in debt and still just have enough to pay off student loans and do X, Y, and Z, like, you're crazy. Your standards aren't high enough. Raise your standards. And that's something that I had to learn, is I had to raise my standards. I had to be okay with wanting more. Do not give yourself the relative answer of saying, oh, well, this is okay that I'm just like this because this person over here. Raise your standard. Set the example. Surround yourself with people who make 10 times more than you. Make yourself feel uncomfortable. So for me, I know that was kind of long-winded, but I say all of that to say is I was in a position where anybody looking at my life from the outside wouldn't have really known that I was struggling the way that I was struggling. And when I saw that $25,000 bonus and I saw these houses and I was thinking, like, what am I missing? What am I missing out on? I had done everything right. What step am I not taking? And my husband said something, and it was like kind of a half joke. And he was like, I just feel like everybody has a side hustle. And I was like, you're a genius. Like, what if that's it? What if that's it? Like, what if that's the thing that I'm missing? And I was just kind of thinking about it, and I thought about reaching out to her, but my pride got in the way, and I didn't reach out to her. And I remember the next day I read this article, and it said the average millionaire has 7 sources of income. And I said, well, dang, if I just want to be half a millionaire, I got to get something else going. And it was like that perfect series of events, from the drive riding in through the houses and looking at that, and then him saying a side hustle, and then me reading that article. It was like God just revealing all of these things to me, giving me that push. The final straw, though, was I walked in, I got back from maternity leave, and it was about a year because I had said we had just moved. So by the time I got back, it was like about time for my annual review. And I got excellent marks, A+, all these things, right, for my job. You guys, I mustered up enough courage to ask for a raise, okay, because I knew we were struggling. I mustered up enough courage, and I walked into the human resources office, and I said, we are paying for daycare. It was $200 a week. And I said, but I would, based on my annual review, like, I know I'm bringing value. I know that there's some, a couple opportunities for upward movement within this job. I would really love a $5,000 raise. And they said, let me get back to you. We're going to talk to the HR department. The next day I had a scheduled meeting with the HR department, and they said, you know what? It's just not in the budget this year. And I promise you that if I had gotten that raise, I wouldn't have joined the business. But because I did not get that raise, it was the straw that broke the camel's back for me, because I decided that was the last time anybody else was going to tell me what I was worth. And I walked out of that office just feeling like, okay, I got to do something else. I can't let somebody else tell me what I'm worth. It's time for me to put the work in and do something different. Because the reality is, you guys, is if you're in a situation where you don't like what your current financial relationship, whatever it is, whatever part of your situation you don't like, and you're complaining about it, but you're not willing to do anything to change it, then that's on you. And I had to take ownership of that. And I had to say, I can't sit here and keep complaining about my paycheck and keep complaining about our finances if I wasn't willing to change it. So I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I talked to the girl who I signed up with, Erin. I actually messaged her husband first, and I very rudely was like, so how much money is your wife actually making? Like, I don't know why I thought that was appropriate to ask that, but I did. And he was like, she makes about $8,000 to $10,000 a month. And I just showed my husband the phone, and I was like, babe, this dude just lied to me. He told me his wife makes $8,000 to $10,000 a month. There's no way she's making that money. And he was like, well, babe, like, even if she's making half of that, you can at least still make 500. And I was like, you're right. That's all I want. That's all I want. Because how many of you guys have just said, dang, $500 a month would change my life, you know? And I was like, but I have to join and it costs money. They're trying to scam me, babe. And he was like, Kelsey, no, they're not. He said, how many times have you walked into Target? Well, first he asked how much it was. And I was like, it's $99. And he was like, okay, I can go through our credit card and I can look at how many times you've walked into Target and didn't really even know what you bought, and you've spent $99. So if that's a scam, then Target's a scam too. And he's like, but you also have to recognize that at the end of the day, everything has a price of admittance. Every single thing that you start costs money. It might not be in the form of paying directly, but if you're a nurse, you have to pay to take your exam. If you're a realtor, you have to pay to take your exam. You have to pay to go to school. You have to pay, I had to pay for my college education. You have to pay. There's a price of admittance for everything. Okay. And he's like, if you're going to let $99 hold you back, that's on you. He said, but if you're going to pay the $99, the reality of it is that you have to put in the work. Don't pay the $99 and then half butt it. Like, he didn't use the word but you know what I mean? Like, don't just go at it and like be 1 foot in. And I was like, okay. And I'm not really a 1 foot in type person. No matter what I do, I'm just both feet. Like, you get all of me or you get none of me. I love you or I just don't like you. That's kind of how it's always been with me. But I think at the end of the day, it was because of that I was successful, because you guys, I'd never done one thing like this before. I had never one time taken a selfie. I had never posted a picture of just myself on social media. I had never done any of that. I had 300 followers on Instagram and I had 800 friends on Facebook. I knew nothing. Like, if you would have looked at my pictures from 5 years ago, like, I don't delete them, but like, so you can really scroll back, and I swear I'm telling you the truth, that like, there was like pictures of walls. Like, I don't know what I was posting. Okay. Like, I don't know what I was doing, but I say all that to say, like, everything is figure outable, because anything that you're saying you don't know, you can figure it out. Like, and that's my attitude. Like, I am still a student of the business. There's still things that I'm learning to this day, 5 years later. And that's what makes it exciting. So I hopped in, you guys, not knowing anything about anything. And I just said, I'm just excited. Like, I'd never tried a product, but I started looking at before and after pictures. And if you're like, I have never tried a product, I don't know if these products work, I'm just going to tell you, go look at some before and after pictures, because the products work. We wouldn't almost be $1 billion company if the products didn't work. Okay. And here's the thing. I always say this, and I just want to say this to the people out there that are thinking about it, but they're coming up with every excuse in the book why they can't. Okay. Because part of it is have you ever been to a restaurant? Maybe it's like this brand new Mexican restaurant that opened up down the street. Okay. You go and you have bomb enchiladas. Like, they're the best enchiladas of your life. You're going to go post a picture about it. Tell your friends how amazing that Mexican restaurant is. But hold up. You haven't even tried everything on the menu. You just know the enchiladas are good. But you assume, and because the quality of the ingredients that made the enchiladas is probably going to be the same quality of the ingredients that makes the rest of the food. So even though you haven't tried everything on the menu, you know, because you tried the enchiladas and they were bomb, that's going to be how the rest of the restaurant is. So you don't go and say, oh, you have to go here, but only try the enchiladas because that's the only thing I've ever had, right? You say, go try this restaurant. It's so good. It's the same thing with the products, you guys. It's the same thing. Try one product and guarantee you all of the other products are going to be just as bomb. Because they are. It's like embarrassing. People are like, do you use the products? I'm like, I actually could never stop doing this business because I spend so much money. I love the products so much. I probably use 12 to 15 of them a day. It's kind of embarrassing. But it's like, I just love the products, and it makes it so simple. To live a healthy lifestyle. It's literally like living a healthy lifestyle for dummies. And so for me, I hopped in, okay? I started posting horrible stuff, but I was excited. And people knew that I was excited. And what do people want? They want to be around people who are excited. Like they want, I wasn't the status quo. I wasn't posting about how horrible my day was anymore, about how I'd locked my keys in the car, about how I'm dreading going to work on Sunday night. Like I was not posting about, I was posting about how excited I was. People were like, what are you so excited about? I'm like, girl, I'm about to be a millionaire. Like I just joined this business. I'm about to make all of this money. I was just so excited. And they were like, you are? And I was like, yeah, I can teach you how to do it. Like, it's going to be amazing. Like, it's so awesome. And I was excited. And because of that, people wanted something to be excited about. How many of you, before you join this business, or if right now you haven't joined the business, that you want something to be excited about? That's it. That's what you want. You wanted something that I was looking forward to my future instead of dreading it, instead of getting anxiety about it. Right. And I did not know what I was doing though. Like I was like, hello, Erin, can you help me? I don't know. How do I respond to this message? But there's so much support. There was so much support. I figured it out. I went diamond, which is a rank in the company that I never thought that I would go to. And I saw my first paycheck 3.5 months in, and it had a comma in it. And I was like, dude, if I can make this much money doing this part-time from my phone 3.5 months in, like I can really build like an empire. Like this is something that I can really do. And the beautiful thing is it was not hard. Now, it's simple, okay? But what's harder? Picking up your phone and making a post and talking to people about the products and talking to people about the business, or picking up your phone and checking your bank account and knowing that you're still broke? What's harder? So you have to choose which hard you want. Because yeah, is there sometimes that I just don't feel like working? Yeah, sometimes I don't feel like picking up my phone. But the beautiful thing is I can do it right here in my house. I can do it like Brandy said, like when we were chatting earlier back and forth, like our kids were both screaming in the background and we were chatting, and it was like, it's just, that's life. Like our life still goes on. And so I went diamond, and you guys, and Brandy, I don't know if you want to ask me questions or if you want me to just keep talking, because I can keep talking. But
no, yeah, we can keep going. We'll keep going back and forth. There's some things I want to jump in on, and that's the best part too of what you just said. Like literally in the middle of one of the messages, Anya walked up and was like, "Mommy, something about poop," and I'm like, "Okay, well," like in the middle of a voice message to you. Guys, you can do this with your kids. You can send your kids to school. You can keep your kids home with you. Like it, whatever you want your life to look at. You know, we left conference, and I was forewarned about the conference plague, but I'm like, I'm not gonna get sick. I'm good. I came home and had gotten the flu at conference and was sick for like 2 weeks. It knocked me down, and I didn't have to worry about calling off work. I didn't have to worry about getting in trouble with the boss for being, I mean, I legit was sick for 2 weeks. I didn't have to worry about any of that. Like if I was going to be, you know, have to get caught up when I went back to work. And I actually like had the best start to my month I've ever had, and signed a bunch of distributors and customers through the flu on my couch with my children. That's the beauty of this business. You guys work it around your time, around your schedule. You know, Kay last night, Kay Dixon told us that one of her non-negotiables as a mom who works from home is that she does not touch her phone until the boys go to school in the morning. So she spends her morning with her kids and then says, okay, they're off to school now. Now I can work my business. You don't get to choose that when I have family, my sister and her husband both work full time. They love their jobs, but they both work full time. And it's crazy at their house because it's like mornings, everyone's getting ready and getting out the door. And, at night they're getting home and it's homework and bedtime and bath time and dinner. And that's like, I don't know, 50% at least or more of the world, of the population that live that way. And that's not the only way. Some people like that and love that. And that's okay. And you can continue on that way, or you can just do this on the side to maybe, great example, one of my girlfriends, one of my best friends, she's on our team. She has a job, I call it a big girl job. She's got a big girl job that she loves, and she joined because she likes things. She likes to travel, she likes to shop, she likes things. And this side hustle pays for her things where she doesn't have to worry about it affecting bills or life. So I just want to jump in on that. Like I love that part of your story.
No, and it's so true. And just to kind of keep going on that, because you guys, when I started, I had my 5-month-old. And you guys know, if you have kids, kids will humble you. Being a parent will humble you. And I think I got over myself because I looked at that little girl and I said, I'm not going to look at you in the eyes and say no, just because I cared about what other people thought. It wasn't worth it, because I knew deep down, even though I didn't want to admit it, deep down, part of the reason I hadn't joined before is because I was nervous about what other people would think of me. Mm-hmm. And I was nervous to post too much because I didn't want people to get annoyed. And I was nervous. But the reality of it is if you nurse or if you bottle feed, you're going to get judged. If you do this business or you don't do this business, you're going to get judged. If it doesn't matter, regardless, people are always going to have opinions. And if they don't have opinions, that's when you need to worry, because that means you're not doing anything. Right? That means you're not doing anything. That means you're just like doing nothing and being nothing. And so people have nothing there. They're not saying anything about you. And so for me, what I had to realize is that other people's opinions don't pay my bills, number one. Number two, you also have to recognize that like you never want to take advice from somebody that you wouldn't trade places with or trade bank accounts with. So for me, why am I going to, it goes, and this is not just in business, you guys, this is in life. So I'm not going to take advice from somebody who's never been married about how to handle an argument in my marriage. I'm not going to take advice from somebody who's never had a business and who's broke as heck telling me that I shouldn't start a business. Like, that doesn't even make sense, because another rule is you'll never get criticized by somebody who's done more than you. Ever. Ever in your life.
That's so true. That's so true. And if you look at the people that are the naysayers that are going to tell you negative things about what you're doing, they're either broke and they're mad because you're making money and they're not, or they're jealous of something. Like, you're not going to see, like you're saying, someone that's doing better than you. When I reach out to my girlfriends and connect with friends I haven't talked to in a while that are doing well in life, the first thing they say is, I am so proud of watching what you guys have done in the past year and a half. I'm so proud of watching your growth and watching this. It's all such positive things. But when you talk to someone who's in their hamster wheel and not happy with their life, they're like, I can't believe you're doing that thing. They and them. Nina likes to talk a lot about they and them.
And sometimes it's just because they don't know better, you guys. It's not because you're trying to be vicious or malicious. Like, when I first joined, it was just because it was almost unknown territory. And the people that care about you, they want to keep you safe. Okay. That's what they're trying to do, is keep you safe. And so my parents, I grew up everybody in my family has traditional jobs. My dad was a stockbroker. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. Like, everybody goes to school, everybody gets their degree. But at the end of the day, this was something different. I honestly, before I joined, this is kind of embarrassing, I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was. Like, I was just not talked about. And because it was like you go and you work and you get a job and you do those things. You don't really work for yourself. That wasn't a thing that I ever knew was an option. And so I think like my dad was kind of like, you're just going to lose all your money. And my mom, she bought products because she felt bad for me. She's like the typical mom. She just like wanted to give me a hug, and she's like, it's okay, you're gonna do great. My sister like made fun of me, and my brother unfollowed me. And I say all that to say, like, I even had friends from high school that like posted, you know, negative things about it. And it wasn't, and what you guys have to realize is that actually has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them, because everybody's gonna have an opinion. Opinions are the cheapest things in the world. The question is which ones are you gonna listen to? Because the people that have those opinions, if you base what you do based on that, they're not the ones that have to live with the regret that you do. Right? So you have to be really careful about whose opinion you're letting run your life. And you have to say, am I gonna wake up tomorrow proud of who I am, proud of who I'm becoming, proud of me, regardless of what anybody else thinks? Because if you're doing what's best for you and you're doing things that you know you're called to do, then guess what? You don't need their approval. And it might come later on and it might not, but you have to know that, like, Jesus died on the cross, not to get all preachy, but like he was killed for that. And so like, if we're going to get that upset about a couple people saying a couple things, then like we have to check ourselves and really determine, like, how bad do we want it? You know? And for me, that was it. And so when I hopped into the business, I had those things. Like, I had those roadblocks. I didn't have the experience of everybody being like, I'm so proud of you. You're doing so awesome. It was really like, I'm just going to watch you fail. But I use that as motivation. And I really turned that into like, let me just show you, right? I'm just going to show you. And so that's where my stubbornness kind of came into play. And it was like a positive thing. And it wasn't in a spiteful way, but it was like, that's what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for me, fighting for my family. I'm fighting for this. And you know what? I don't want to look back and say, what if I just would have tried harder? What if I just would have tried that business? What if I just would have done that? I'd much rather have an oops and be like, oh, well, I tried it and it didn't work, than have the regret of saying, dang, well, what if that would have happened? What if I would have done that? Because people on their deathbed, you guys, they don't worry about the things they did. They always regret the things they didn't do. And that's what I'm most scared of. If anything in life is like, I don't ever want to look back and say, I wish I would have done that. Okay. Because that is like so scary to me. That's more scary than anything else. But I love that, Brandy. And I think it's so true. Like, everybody has to realize that we always think, everybody thinks we're the busiest person in the world. Drop something in the comments. Drop a 1 in the comments if you're like, I'm the busiest person in the world. This girl does just not understand how busy I am. And I'm actually really busy, and I don't know where I'm going to have time for this. Okay. We all think we're the busiest people. When I hopped in, I was like, I was so busy. Where am I going to, just because I joined this business, I didn't get extra hours in the day. And that was really hard, for me at first to kind of get over that of like creating the time. Because I realized, like, dang, busy was optional. Like, I was busy watching Netflix after I got home from work and my baby went to bed. I was busy thinking that my life was so hard and I needed a bubble bath. Like, I was busy like, oh, let me just chill out on the couch and scroll social media because I had such a hard day, right? And Gary Vee says, you want to use 9 to 5 to have a job and then use 6 to 2 a.m. to work on your dreams. And if you have dreams that you care about enough, you'll do it. You'll do it. And that's exactly how I built until the point that I was able to retire 9 months later. So I quit my banking job 9 months later. And it was just so awesome to kind of have that freedom and that flexibility. And then what happened too, you guys, is so I've been doing this full time for over 4 years now. Just doing this full time from my phone, doing social media. And what has actually allowed me to do is my husband, he had the flexibility to take, to get out of coaching. Coaching is an interesting profession. It's very demanding. You're gone. Like, I remember my son was born in June, and in July, my husband was gone 23 days and I had an 18-month-old and a newborn. And he was gone like 21 days out of that month. My daughter, when she was born in November, he had to leave the hospital like after she was born to go coach a game. And so it's just a very demanding job. And he wanted to be there for our kids. Like, he wanted to coach their teams. He didn't want to be coaching, a college Division I team. And so he had that flexibility and the financial flexibility because of this business to take a job at the NCAA headquarters, which is where he works now in downtown Indianapolis. And so, but had it not been for this business, I wouldn't have been able to allow my husband to do what he loves to do and have that freedom, right? And so it was like, it's just been such a game changer for our family. But the cool thing is our life just has gone on. You know, life doesn't stop for anybody. You're going to have problems whether you're in this business or not in this business. You're going to have life happen to you. Your car's going to break down. Just today, I tell people all the time, I'm like, I don't know how people who don't make a significant amount of money survive. Because today I had a nail go into my car tire, $220 to fix that. I got a ticket, okay? Had to pay that, $218. You guys, and it's like, that's $500 right there. And then I go into Target and spend $70 on Lord knows what. My son wanted a new basketball and all these things. And so it's like, that's $500 that like I didn't have to stress about because of this business. And so it's not that we're out here saying, hey, be as greedy as you can, come in this business and, you know, whatever. It's really just to survive. Like, it's expensive. Life's expensive. And so don't say you're fine, because 90% of people are like, I just want $500 a month. That's what I said. And I would just be like, extra $500. But Brandy, I'm sure you can attest this. A lot of the time it's not extra.
Right.
Necessary.
Right. It's necessary. That's a car payment for a lot of people. And that's, you come into this and we're all scared when we come into it. I was too, up until just, end of last year. I was scared to reach out to people, and I was still kind of hesitant. We've been in a year and a half on what are they going to think? And one thing that really changed it for me was, we earned that trip to Costa Rica, and we went to Costa Rica, and I was, around all these people that were just like Kelsey and, just like what we've been experiencing and, retiring a spouse and doing this full time. And the shift in how their life used to be and how their lives look now is incredible. And you can truly design your dream life. And if you're sitting around, we all have family that hasn't supported us in this business. We all have friends that haven't supported us in this business. That's from the number one income earners to, the executive who hasn't done anything. Every single one of us who just joined and hasn't done anything yet, every single one of us has people that have said no or not supported us. But the beautiful, thing about this is that if you're sitting around those people that are telling you you're not going to make it, if you tell them your dreams, they're going to laugh and say, oh yeah, okay, good luck with that. If you tell somebody in this business your dreams, they're going to encourage you to go after them. They're going to help you with a roadmap of how to achieve them. So before we wrap this up, I just want to talk about that. I actually had someone jump on the Facebook Live. I've been following the comments like, oh yeah, these bonuses, I'm sure this is all real. Like, So you know what? We're going to address that. These bonuses are real. And I think I slipped and said $212 or something on yours, but she earned $212,000. We earned over $100,000 in bonuses in our first year and a half. Our team collectively, and don't worry, corporate, I will drop the income disclosure statement in the comments here. Our team collectively, we're creeping up on, it's been a year and a half, have earned like over $1 million in bonuses. That is attainable. That is not just the people at the top. That is not just a select few people at the top making the money. That is everyone. And if you have the vision and you have the drive and you are coachable, then you can succeed in this business. And whether you want to make $250 extra a month or you want to make $25,000 a month, you can do that. And whoever invited you to this call, you get back to them and you say, I'm ready. I want to join. I want more. And they will, guys, we have steps at work. And that's all we do every month. We give you the steps and we duplicate them every single month. And if you're willing to do that, you will achieve your goals. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. You want to follow the people that have done this and made big money and follow their teachings. And so I'll end on the bonuses real quick. At conference last month, we did launch bonuses. They are real. They are not like some made up thing. The bonuses start at diamond. Diamond is really the third, it's like the third like real rank, goes distributor, executive, ruby, emerald, diamond. But diamond's the rank where the bonuses start, you guys. Kelsey, I think you said you hit diamond in 4 months. I hit it in just about the same time. I think it was like 90 some days, and didn't have a lot of experience, had never really made money in the industry. You know, Kelsey was new to the industry. We hit that rank and earned those bonuses in just a few months, guys. It was 10,000 when I joined. It's 15,000 now. I'm, like I said, in our second position going for 80,000 in bonuses. That's real. That is real money. We don't get paid a monopoly money. I love when Nina actually says this a lot. She's like, I wish someone would tell the IRS this was a scam. Because it's not a scam at tax time when I owe money. It's not a scam. This is life-changing. And so if you're on this call, I commend you for taking the step and being here and listening to this. Kelsey and I both like to talk. We're 45 minutes in. So if you made it this far, I commend you. And get back to whoever invited you here, whoever shared the live with you, sent you the recording, whoever invited you to this Zoom. Get back with them and just tell them you want more and listen with an open heart and give it a try. Because like Kelsey said, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? If you're sitting at your job, what changes in your job? What would change in your job in 4 months? Honestly, would you get a raise in 4 months? Would you earn a big bonus in 4 months? Most jobs, no. But here, and I'm using 4 months because that's roughly the time when we hit it. I'm not putting any timing on anything. So anyone, you do this in your time. People have gone diamond in a week. People have done it in a year. It's what you set the pace, but you get to decide that. You don't have a boss telling you how much you can earn, when you can earn it. You know, I quit my job when I was 7 months pregnant because there was no paid maternity leave. And I knew that I didn't want to leave my newborn and go to a job that I didn't love and sit at a desk and worry about her. And so I was crying every morning before work, and Mike was like, Brandy, just quit. We'll figure it out. Quit. And I did. And so you guys, you can make whatever you want out of this. So I just wanted to end with that and take a chance, because a lot can change in your life in 90 days, in 6 months, in a year, in 3 years, just by saying yes and stepping away from the Netflix, stepping away from the bubble bath at night, whatever it is that we all waste time. We actually stopped the TikTok craze trying to figure it out because we found we were wasting time on it and it was taking away from things. So whatever if you're too busy, really think about your day and what you're spending your time on. And are you really too busy? Are you too busy to be making money, or are you too busy because you're on Facebook? So if you're on Facebook, you should be making money for it.
No, I love
Anything
that.
else you want to add?
I always ask people, I say, my question is if you knew you could be successful, if you knew you would be successful in this, would you do it? If the answer is yes, then you need to get more information. Because if the answer is yes, that means you're interested in it. This is something that you would want to do, but fear is holding you back. Okay. Because if you knew you could be where we are, Brandy's been in 17 months. I mean, I've been in almost 5 years, but the reality of it is you guys, any scams, those are just illegal. Okay. Those are just illegal. And here's the thing is, why you think that is because you haven't fully just educated yourself. It's not because you're dumb. It's not because of anything, but I thought it was a scam too. Like, we get it. We've been there before. And so don't be like, I'm not defensive about it. Like, I'm not sitting here telling you, oh my gosh, like, what are you're so dumb. Like, I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is go talk to somebody who's a legitimate business person and ask them what experience they've had with it, because anybody who's been a business owner is going to tell you that network marketing is one of the best ways that you can make money. Okay. I'm just telling you. And it's flexible and people do it all the time. 82% of women in the United States who make over $100,000 a year do it in this industry. 82% of women in the United States who make over $100,000 a year do it in this industry. They're not doctors. They're not lawyers. They're not whatever. They do it in this industry. It's a real thing. So I encourage you, because being skeptical doesn't pay you a dime. Okay. But being open-minded can make you millions. So I encourage you, it doesn't cost anything to get information. Just reach out to the person who invited you to watch this and say, hey, I don't know if I'm ready to join, but I do know that I would love some more information, and see what they have to say about it, because you won't ever regret just asking those questions.
That was perfect. Thank you so much for
Yes,
being
thank
on.
you for having me. It was so fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, guys, we do these every single Tuesday. Next week is mid-March. Next week is Katie Bevington and Courtney Levy, if I'm saying her last name right. Katie, I got to meet in Costa Rica. Courtney responded to something in a group, and I don't know anything about her story, so I'm super excited to learn about her and share with you guys. So every single Tuesday, next Tuesday at 8 p.m. And Kelsey, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. All right, guys, have a great night, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.